This is the new Kia Syros, which sits between the Seltos and the Sonet. Bookings for this latest sub 4 meter SUV or crossover have already begun. Price announcement will be on February 1st, after which deliveries will also start. But today, we are here to drive the car to see how it performs and how practical it is in the real world. Well, the sub 4 meter compact SUV segment has been trending for many years, and the addition of the Syros isn't a surprise as to why. The success of the Maruti Suzuki Brezza, Hyundai Venue, Kia Sonet, Mahindra XUV 300, which is now the 3XO, Toyota Urban Cruiser, and the likes make it crucial for a brand to have a product in this segment. Well, two for Kia now with the Syros and the Sonet. Now, we've detailed this car in a walk around video earlier, the link for which you can find somewhere in the description. And before we proceed, do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us. Let's start with its exterior. This signature frost blue color looks good. In fact, Kia says 20% of the prospective buyers who've booked this car have chosen this one. Well, all Kia cars have had unique styling elements, and the Syros also echoes the same. At first glance, it looks a little weird, but then look closer and you'll start appreciating the styling elements. For example, the star map LED lights are typical Kia design seen on more of its recent siblings. It has these ice cube headlamps with DRLs next to it, which integrate the side indicators as well. Even on the side, it has these elements like retractable flush fitting door handles, a thick B-pillar, roof rails, and these flared wheel arches house these dual tone alloy wheels. The design of these wheels is interesting and a pattern that's unseen before. Likewise, the side cladding isn't just a black piece of plastic, but a tastefully designed unit with a silver insert. Now, at the back, you see these LED DRLs over here. These are similar to the vertically stacked LED headlamps, but then the tail lamps are integrated into the bumper. These white elements that you see are actually LED lights which, when lit up, when you brake, these lit up into red lights. There's a side indicator down here as well. And then the bumper gets this silver plastic-like thing to break the monotony of the black. The Kia Syros is based on a reinforced K1 platform, and though has a boxy design, inside it promises space comparable to SUVs from a higher segment. In the first row, there's quite a lot of space for the driver, and the electronic adjustments for the seat lend you a good driving position. In terms of the dashboard design, it is a simple yet modern take with these horizontal vents and a 30-inch display which houses the infotainment system, the instrument cluster, and the aircon vents in this 5-inch screen that you have. We'll get to these details in a bit. Then there is this flat bottom steering wheel with all controls including music, ADAS, and even the drive modes and traction modes. Speaking of the 30-inch dual screen layout, it houses a digital instrument cluster and a touchscreen infotainment system. Well, there's even a 5-inch screen in between for the aircon controls. In terms of the quality of materials used and fit and finish, Kia has done a wonderful job. You don't feel there's any tacky equipment, and these shades of grey that they've used look really good and even feel good. In terms of equipment, the Syros is a feature-packed vehicle. There's a long list of features that you get right from the base variant till the top spec variant. Other features offered on the Syros include an 8-speak Harman Kardon sound system, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, wireless charging, ambient lighting, connected car features with remote window ventilation, rear AC vents, and a rear sunshade. In terms of features in the second row, the biggest USP of this car is ventilated seats. So you have the option of setting it to 3 levels. Then there's a purifier, air con vents, and 2 USB-C type ports for charging. And there's a slot for keeping your phone and other stuff here. Another big USP is the panoramic sunroof. And even though this is the top spec variant that gets this panoramic roof, the lower variants also get the option of a smaller sunroof. Occupants in the second row also get a rear sunshade as an option where they don't have to resort to the aftermarket equipment. And then in terms of space, there is quite a lot of it. As you can see, I am now in a position where my driver position was set. You still have good enough leg room. There's sufficient headroom, but then these seats can be slided forward and behind and reclined as well. So for the comfort of 4 passengers, it's quite a nice place to be in. There's even an armrest with holders, but then if you want to accommodate another third person in the second row seat, that's also possible as there is sufficient space. There's not a big hump in between, and 5 people can sit in this car. The Syros is equipped with a slew of safety features. The car gets a 360-degree camera, 6 airbags, ESC, hill start, and disc brakes on all 4 corners. Then there's level 2 ADAS, which uses a combination of radar, cameras, and sensors for the driver assistant braking tech. Thankfully, we didn't get to experience the autonomous braking system, but we did manage to try out some other interesting features that are practical and will help drivers. Now, the new Kia Syros gets level 2 ADAS, as in autonomous driving systems. Of course, it includes autonomous braking and many other features, but since we are now on the highway, we'll demonstrate a few features. Let's start with cruise control and adaptive cruise control. Basically, you press this button and you can set the speed like you do in usual cruise control. What adaptive cruise control does is it will automatic brake if it detects a vehicle in front. Plus, if in case you set it to that speed, it will follow that vehicle at that speed and then continue at the speed at which you've set the speed. Next is the distance. At the press of this button, you have 4 options where you can set the distance of the vehicle in front, how close or far you want your car to be from that vehicle. Then there's lane assist, which you can see will bring the car back into its lane. Now this system is so smart that you can see it's showing the dotted lines, and whenever you have a straight line, as in one which is not dotted, obviously, it will also show that over here. Now if you say, what if I have to change the lanes? It won't allow me to change the lanes, right? So for that, you just have to give it an indicator in which lane, in which direction you have to go. For example, now the lane assist is on. It won't allow me to go into the right lane. It will pull me back into my lane. But then, if I give it an indicator, it will then allow me to change lanes. Now the system also shows up if there are any speed cameras ahead. Now we will also demonstrate how the lead vehicle departure or whatever they say works. For example, I have set my speed to 90, but the vehicle in front, if it is doing 70, this car will keep following the car at 70 and at the distance that you set. Now I'll reduce the distance. So it has increased its speed, started following the car ahead. And it will continue to do this and eventually slow down at the speed at which the front car is going. It will change lanes. See, it is automatically braking to adjust to the speed of the vehicle in front. Now what if I set the speed to 100, but the vehicle ahead is probably just doing 80. But then I can see the overtaking lane is free. So I'll just indicate, get into the overtaking lane. The car will automatically start accelerating at the speed at which it is set. Here, 100 kilometers per hour, for example. Now the system is so seamless and quickly adapts to the speed that it is set in. It also has got to do with the turbo engine that you can see. It also reduces the speed at the touch of a button. You're back at 80. The car also gets a lane watch camera. Basically, it uses the cameras onto the left or right and shows you if in case a car is
meter speed camera ahead, 120 kilometers per hour speed limit.
Now, as I was talking about the smart system which tells you about the speed cameras, it just told us that there is a speed camera ahead and what the speed is. Coming back to what we were saying, it gets a lane watch camera which shows, it uses the side camera and shows if in case a vehicle is approaching you. So if in case you are making a turn, it gives you a warning or makes you aware of what a car is coming from behind. So it gets these pedal shifters as well and they respond to inputs quickly. So you can quickly shift up or shift down. Now for the powertrain options, the petrol Kia Syros will be offered with a 1-liter turbo petrol engine that produces 118 bhp and 172 Nm of torque. It comes mated to either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Then there's even a 1.5-liter diesel motor that churns out 114 bhp and 250 Nm of torque. This oil burner comes mated to either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. What we are driving here is the 1-liter turbo petrol engine, which is silent, refined, and feels quite adequate for its job. And when we say that, we mean it has got good tractability and offers sufficient grunt at low speeds, has a good mid-range, and can cruise comfortably at high speeds. It gets drive modes and traction modes, which can be selected through the buttons on the steering wheel. So, in terms of the drive mode, there's Eco, Normal and Sport mode. The difference between these modes is quite apparent, especially in the Sport mode where the throttle response gets sharper. It allows you to rev higher, unlike in the other modes where the gearbox is trying to upshift to a higher gear. Speaking of the 7-speed DCT, Kia Motors says it will offer maximum durability and efficiency. The car maker says this gearbox can sustain 3 lakh kilometers and has a claimed fuel efficiency of 17.68 kmpl according to ARAI. The 6-speed petrol manual, on the other hand, boasts 18.2 kmpl. Moreover, this 7-speed gearbox is quite quick and makes things feel quite seamless. In fact, we managed to sprint the car from 0 to 100 kmph, and even when not under ideal conditions and with a cameraman on board, it felt quick off the line. It won't be surprising if this crossover can manage faster sub 10 seconds 0 to 100 kmph acceleration times. The steering is quite light, and with 2.5 turns lock to lock, it is quite quick as well. Moreover, with increase in speeds, the heft in the steering increases nicely. The car maker has optimized the ride quality and improved the steering and suspension as compared to the Sonnet. It has been done to maximize the comfort of the passengers. As a result, the low-speed steering efforts have been reduced, the car portrays good body control, and is stable even at triple-digit speeds. As for the ride quality, Kia Motors has hit the sweet spot in tuning the suspension, as the Syros handles our roads, the uneven sections, the broken roads, potholes with ease. At high speeds, there is a bit of thunk and thud in the cabin, but otherwise, occupants don't feel unsettled. Even at slow speeds, there is some side-to-side movement, but never to a point where passengers will feel uncomfortable. Well, the Kia Syros slots itself into the sub 4 meter segment due to its length. But then it's only the length which is directly comparable with the other cars in this segment. Well, the Syros offers so much more in terms of space, comfort and features, well, the ones that can be found in the upper mid-size SUV segment. The Syros is boxy and not as muscular or sharp as other SUVs. Yet, it is modern, unique and has a spacious and comfortable cabin, an interior that is loaded with new tech and many features. Well, some features might be considered as a novelty like a panoramic sunroof, ambient lighting, etc. But most features, including ventilated seats, are very practical for our market. Kia plans to position the Syros in between the Sonnet and the Seltos, so we expect a competitive pricing. Well, this is a price segment where not many manufacturers have brought in cars. Well, the Syros should be able to fill in that space, especially with its good looks, the amount of features, the space that it provides at the back and the comfort. Well, but then all that depends on the pricing that will be announced on the February 1st. Stay tuned. Will you consider this petrol automatic and be a part of the 60% takers of the petrol bookings that have been already done? Or will you still consider the diesel version? Do let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.